The city of Ptolus has a huge number of eccentricities, but the one I'm going to talk about in this video isn't specific to just the city, but is actually to the entire world of Praemal, which the city of Ptolus is inside of. First off, spoiler alerts. If you are a player in a Ptolus campaign, send this video to your DM, but stop watching now because I don't want this to be a spoiler for you that might ruin something in the campaign that your DM has planned for you. So go ahead and leave, watch my other videos, go read the Ptolus player guide, or do something like that. I'm going to assume everybody left now is DMs, GMs, or, as you know I like to call, narrators that are interested in Ptolus or the world of Praemal as a prison plane. So what does that really mean? Well, Praemus, the creator god, built Praemal as a prison world for the Galchutt. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit trail. You can read the rest of that in the book. What does that mean for your game? First off, you can choose to not use this feature if you don't want to. I've definitely decided to use it in my game, and it's been really interesting, especially when dealing with D&D players who have been playing this game for 3 decades. This is a new twist, and it's something that's kind of fun and interesting that they're not used to. So if you've run campaigns in the past, if your players have been in campaigns in the past where they're the world hopping, the astral projection, and just roaming all over the cosmos of D&D, well, then this is going to be a little bit different. But again, it wouldn't be campaign breaking if you decided to say, nope, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to let them jump all over the planes. So what it means as a prison plane is that Praemal is a world that nothing can leave. So for your players, they can go to the Ethereal Sea or the Astral Plane, and basically that plane normally touches all other planes. And so you can go to the Ethereal Plane, and then you can go to another plane from there. In Praemal, in the world of Ptolus, the Ethereal Plane only occupies the same metaphysical space as Praemal. So they can go there, but they can't leave that plane, no matter what they do. They can also create demi-planes, and some of those exist as you look into the Quan, and there's a handful of others in the actual book. But again, those are simply islands essentially floating on the Ethereal Sea. They are not completely alternate planes. There is no way, not even with the power of a god, that anybody can actually leave this plane. That's the way the book is written. So this really changes a lot of different things. Spells like astral projection and plane shift simply do not work. Moreover, if nobody has ever traveled to a different plane, except for maybe the Ethereal Sea, in the entire history of the world, then that really is going to change the way that your players would need to think about it in terms of their characters. Because, for example, their characters would have never heard of all the other planes in the D&D cosmos. They would only know, maybe, if they heard from a high-level magic user, of a demi-plane that they could visit, or maybe of the Ethereal Sea. So the spells Astral Projection and Plane Shift really probably even wouldn't exist. Then spells like Banishment and Holy Word, you can't send somebody out of the plane. You can't banish them from this plane to their native plane of existence. They're stuck here, and so the book says that those actually just stun the creature that you cast those on. So what does that mean for summoned creatures? Summoning creatures, summoning monsters still functions the same way as the book written, because what you're doing is not actually physically bringing that entity here. Let's say you summon a dire beast, right? You have created a facsimile, a copy of that creature through the spell. It exists here, and that's why when they're slain, they just dissipate into dust. That's the effect of those spells, so those spells still work normally. Now, a spell like calling an extraplanar entity are very, very different. First off, most of those entities would know they can't come here and then return to their native plane. And so if they come here, it's going to be in dire need or really heavy bribery. Some examples of that, using our little map here, are the Pale Tower, which is occupied by celestials called the Malkuth. They have come into this plane knowing they can't ever leave. And then the Dark Reliquary up here, it's also full of demons and devils and other, denizens of the Nine Hells that they have, again, come to this plane knowing that they can't ever leave. So it really changes kind of the way that you're going to run this campaign. A little spoiler alert for my own campaign, one of the things that I'm planning on doing is actually having my characters fix this. So if you read through the whole book, narrator, if you learn about the seven chains, the Valus Moon, that if those are broken, it opens the world of Praemal back to the whole D&D cosmos. And so what we're actually going to do is my players are going to change this when they get into those high levels, like 15 to 20th level is where that stuff is going to start happening. What that means for my campaign is that I think it's going to be kind of a fun aspect, kind of like at the end of like the Fantastic Four movie where all of a sudden Galactus the Devourer of Worlds opens up, or from the Avengers series where Thor tells the humans, hey, you have now opened up Earth on the cosmological landscape to be a place that is now ready for a higher form of war. That's my plan for my Ptolus campaign, where essentially they're going to open up the world. Well, now all of these extraplanar entities that had always avoided this world, knowing they're going to be trapped there, are going to be thinking, hey, this world might be ripe for the spoils, which will be great campaign fodder for epic level adventurers. Again, this is something that you can decide to use or not. It would be very simple for you as the narrator to hand wave and say that the world was created simply as a trap for the Galchutt and they can't leave without all of the other cosmological stuff needing to happen, breaking the seven chains, the Valus Moon returning, the Night of Dissolution, all of that stuff. So you could easily say it's just to them. But if you like to use this rule, if you're interested in it, like I said, there's two aspects of how you can reveal this. A, you can spring this on your players, which is exactly what I did, or B, you can tell your players up front, hey guys, this stuff, your characters never would have heard of it. No mage in the world has ever done this that you're aware of, or they've tried and they've failed. And so those are two different approaches of how you can to integrate this into your game. Like I said, my choice was I actually sprung it on my players. So my players, like I said, they're 2 and 3 decade veterans of this hobby. They were talking about jumping to other planes, and I started challenging them, saying, well, how do you know about that? Because nobody that you know has ever done that. And so it was really kind of a fun gotcha moment. Didn't ruin the game for them in any capacity. It was just one of those interesting tidbits that made not only Ptolus already so interesting, but to make the whole game, the whole campaign world be completely different. So this is something, let me know in the comments what you think of this. This is obviously something that Monty Cook Games wrote into the original world of Ptolus. And so I'm curious what your thoughts are on, hey, do you want to use this in your game? Do you like it? Do you not like it? And maybe, what you think of which approach you would use if you're going to do this. Tell them about it up front, or don't tell them about it. And then the first time they try to, call a creature, that creature's like, no way, man, I ain't coming there because I can't ever leave. And then they're like, wait, what are you talking about? Let me know what you guys think, and if this was a helpful video, please like and subscribe. The website that I'm using here with this handy dandy map is ptol.us. There's a link in the description below. This is an unofficial website. If you want full access, this actually has not only the navigatable map with pieces on the side where you can, say, zoom into something or even search for if you are looking for maybe oh my goodness, I completely just forgot the name of the most important tavern in the city, the Ghostly Minstrel. This shows you how good I've been running, how long I've been running this game. So if you type in Minstrel, you can click on there, and then boom, it'll zoom you right in there. This is a super handy website. In order to get full access to all of the content from the entire book on this digital website, that was redundant, on this website, you have to let me know that you've bought the book, back the Kickstarter, own the physical copy, own the PDF that you bought through DriveThruRPG, DM's Guild, or even Monty Cook's own website. So if you haven't checked this website out, please go ahead and do. I share these videos on there, and hopefully you guys have some happy gaming. Let me know what you guys think. Have a great day.